I am here in Beaver Creek this morning with Barrett Black from Black's BBQ. I love your name. That just sounds like such a cool Texas name.
Yeah, you can just thank my parents for that one.
Right? With that name, I bet you come up with some good barbecue.
Yeah, well, it's not all about me. I'm fourth generation pitmaster. My great-grandfather started it back in 1932. So it's now my job, along with my dad and my brother, to carry on that tradition and try to feed as many people as we can. And
that's awesome. And here today, you guys are going to be doing a culinary demonstration, correct?
That's right. Yeah, the beef brisket, we're going to do it Texas style. So many people get scared of cooking a brisket, but it is a difficult cut to cook because it is different muscles. It is a tougher cut, but with just a few tips and tricks here and there, I think anybody can do it.
That's so cool. So what separates Texas barbecue? Because I know all different parts of the country have their own flavors. What makes it Texas brisket, in your opinion?
Yeah, in Central Texas style, which is what we do, it's salt, pepper, and meat. We really want the meat to be the star of the show. We opened in 1932 and we didn't start serving sauce till the 1970s, only because other people from around the country started asking for it. And so, the meat's really got to shine. And in Texas, if your brisket's not good on its own, you're really not doing something right. So we work really hard on that.
So what if you were to make me a plate of brisket the way that you felt it should be served, what would be the ideal way to taste something like that? Do you eat it in a sandwich or do you eat it just straight up?
It's great on just a cheap piece of white bread, because it lets that meat shine, but just on its own is great too. I like to get some of the lean side and some of the fatty side as well. That's another difficult part about the brisket is one part that's really lean and one part that's really fatty, and they're both great on their own, but they cook differently. But I would put both of those on your plate with a little bit of sauce on the side, my grandma's recipe, to where it complements the meat and doesn't cover it up. So you got to try it both ways.
So today when you do your culinary demonstration, are you going to be talking about more the rub that you do, the how to cook it? Give me some secrets.
Well, we're going to go from the beginning to the end. So I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to buy the correct one, to the right shape and size, how to trim it, because you can't just take it out of the package and put it on your smoker. You've got to trim it a certain way, otherwise it's going to burn up. And then how to slice it, because you can do all that work to season it properly, trim it, cook it perfectly, but if you don't slice it correctly, it's going to come out tough as well. So we're going to cover the whole breadth of how to do a brisket.
So if I was going to do a brisket, I watch your demonstration and then I'm going to try and do a brisket. What sort of timing is that going to take me to cook something like that? Because you do want to slow cook that type of meat, correct?
Sure. Yeah, it's definitely an all-day event, if not a couple days. Back in the restaurant, cooking a brisket is a multi-day event. Just because we believe that gets the most flavor into it. But for the big green egg, you can do that in an afternoon or so. It takes maybe 6 to 8 hours depending on the size of your brisket, but the more time you have, the better. So you just got to be patient with it. It's worth it.
That's so cool. And you can actually do that in a big green egg as well as a smoker?
Exactly, yeah. The big green egg's great. You can put they have a convector thing that turns it kind of into a convection oven sort of thing that has an indirect heat. And so it's great for smoking. I do it a lot at home. At the restaurant, we do it the old school way, my great-grandfather does it. But I've learned how to do it on a big green egg at my home, and that's what I grill on just about every time at home.
And what time is the demonstration at today?
2:30.
So 2:30 is the culinary demonstration. You're not going to want to miss that if you want to come home and try and do your own brisket. And that is going to be, it's going to be in between Base Mountain Sports and the Covered Bridge. So definitely something that don't have too many of the brews before you go over there, because you want to take it all in. So head on over there and, check it out. We're going to have Barrett here teaching you how to do it. Yeah. And we're going to have some great weather today, and we're going to get another look at that coming up next with Eric.